Hello, moonshine and sunshine. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. And today I'm going to read you a story called Mr. Wolf's Pancakes, because next week is going to be Pancake Day. And so through this week, we're going to talk about pancakes, read a story about pancakes, and later this week, me and Mrs. Shawcat are going to show you how to make pancakes. Okay, so as stated earlier, this is Mr. Wolf's Pancakes, and it's written by Jan Fernley, the author. And the illustrator draws the pictures. Okay, let's have a look. One day, Mr. Wolf was feeling very hungry. He fancied some pancakes. Yum, yum, he said, licking his lips at the thought of a big pile of freshly made pancakes. But Mr. Wolf had never made pancakes before. So he took down his big recipe book down off the shelf and he looked inside. But wolves can't read very well. Oops, he's got his book upside down. And Mr. Wolf had trouble making sense of what it said. So he thought maybe his neighbours could help him. He went to knock on Chicken Licken's door. Please, can you help me read this story? Not story. Please, can you help me read this? He asked. No, said Chicken Licken, slamming the door in Mr. Wolf's face. Bang! Dear, that wasn't very nice. Oh dear, said Mr. Wolf. So he went back home and he sat down and he managed to read the book and worked out what he needed all by himself. If you look at the pictures above him, can you work out what is needed? Mr. Wolf looked in his cupboard for the ingredients, and the ingredients are what you need to help you make the pancakes. But he couldn't find anything that he needed. So he decided he had to go to the shops. So he went to write a shopping list. But wolves aren't very good at writing either. So Mr. Wolf decided to go and check on another neighbour, and this was wee Willie Winky. You're very clever, said Mr. Wolf. Can you help me write my shopping list? No, go away. He slammed his door shut. Bang. Ugh, there's no need to be like that, said Mr. Wolf quietly. Mr. Wolf went back home and he sat down and tried very hard to write his shopping list. Milk, eggs, flour. And he did it all by himself. Now he needed to count his money to make sure he had enough. But guess what? Wolves are not very good at counting. So he went to the gingerbread man to ask for some help. Can you help me count my money, please? Said Mr. Wolf. No, I'm too busy to help you. Mr. Gingerbread Man slammed the door in his face. Bang! The poor Mr. Wolf went back home and started to count the money. It took him a long time because he had to keep checking it. But he did do it all by himself. Mr. Wolf now needed a basket to help carry his shopping. And he had an idea. He remembered that Little Red Riding Hood has a basket. Please, may I borrow your basket? He asked very nicely. I'm not lending my basket to you. Now clear off, said Little Red Riding Hood. So Mr. Wolf set off to the shops without a basket. And then he got to the shop. There's a beautiful picture of the shops. See what you can see. Got his list out and he remembered what he needed and counted out his money. And he carried the eggs, the milk and the flour all by himself. Now it was time to make the pancakes, but wolves aren't very good at cooking. So Mr. Wolf called on the 3 little pigs. Please, can you help me cook my pancakes? I'll share them with you, he said kindly. No chance, chorused the pigs, slamming their doors one by one. Bang, bang, bang. Mr. Wolf now felt very sad because nobody wanted to help him. Mr. Wolf went home and he started to make the pancakes all by himself. Soon there was a huge pile of delicious pancakes on the table, all ready for eating. And if you see here, Mr. Wolf is flipping his pancakes. And that's what me and Mrs. Shortcat will do sometime this week to show you. Now, as Mr. Wolf had been making the pancakes, a lovely smell had drifted out of the kitchen, and all of his neighbours could smell it, and it made them feel very hungry indeed. They wanted some pancakes, so they decided to try their luck. So they knocked on Mr. Wolf's door. "Give us some of your pancakes," they all said. "Why should I give you any?" said Mr. Wolf. "Not one of you would help me." "We'll help you eat them," replied Mr. Wolf's neighbours. "Anyway, we're not going away until you give us some." Mr. Wolf thought very hard for a moment. There was only one decent thing to do. "Oh, very well then," he sighed. "You had better come in." Mr. Wolf opened the door wide, and whoosh! His greedy neighbours rudely pushed him aside and dashed down the hall. Mr. Wolf shook his head, shrugged his shoulders, and followed them into the kitchen. And when they were all in the kitchen, Mr. Wolf gobbled them up, snippety snappity snap, and that was the end of his very unhelpful neighbours. And then, with his bulging tummy not quite full, Mr. Wolf sat down and ate his pancakes, all by himself. Well, there was nobody else around. I hope you enjoyed that story, and like I said, sometime this week, me and Mrs. Shortcat will be showing you how to make these delicious pancakes. Okay, that's all for now. See you later. Bye.